Okay, we've got our servo horns. We got one for the elevator, just a single arm. We've got a dual arm for the rudder and steering. What we're going to do, these are smaller ones which work fine on these 40s. I have some bigger ones of these. Yeah, they're not going to fit through the holes. So what we have to do is wallow that hole out. Just get you a little drill bit just slightly bigger than that. Wallow the holes out. Then that should, whew, wow, still tight. Let's see here. Instead of going to a bigger bit, sometimes I'll just kind of wallow it a little bit sideways. You just want these to fit snug. You don't want them loose in there with a lot of slack, but you don't want them real tight either. That'll put a lot of torque on your servos. That's got a little bit of tightness to it, but it's not bad. I'm afraid if I go the next bit up, which I'm going to find it, I'm afraid it might be too big. Well, yeah, I think I'm going to stick with this one, and we'll just wallow it out a little bit more. Because I want them kind of snug. You don't want any slop. Any slop you have anywhere is going to cause slop in your linkage. So you don't want any slop. You want that elevator and that rudder and everything just perfectly tight wherever you move it. You don't want any slop where it'll wiggle in the wind. There we go. That's great right there. Okay, so we're going to put another one of them on the other side. This is for our rudder and steering. We got one on each side. I love these things. I've had people, friends even, that say, "Oh, I don't want to use them. I'm afraid they'll come loose." I've been flying for 5 years. I use them on every plane I've got, even my big ones. I've never had one come loose, knock on wood. The trick is to make sure you Loctite the set screw and really cinch it down on your control rod. And as long as you Loctite it, it's not going to come loose. It's hard to break those screws loose that have the Loctite. So, okay, got those in. Now, find my tweezers here. Okay, now what we need, these come with a little black metal spring clip. So we need 2 of those. We're going to put, we need one for throttle too, so we need 3 of those. Then there's also a little plastic cap that goes over the top of that. And so you've got a double clip on this thing, and they're just, I just don't think they're ever going to come loose. You know, maybe in a crash, but I have never had one come loose. I love them because it makes it so easy, because you put your control rods, rather than having to take a clevis loose and screw it in or out, and then you can only go half a turn, so you can't get it right half the time. These, you put your rod through there, and to fine tune it, you just loosen your screw. If you need, and slide that rod just a little ways, which direction you need to go. You can mark it with a Sharpie. Just tighten your bolt down on it, and it's very easy to adjust in there, and then you get that as close as you can, then you can go on your radio and even fine tune it even more. But I love these things. I put them on my throttle arms on the carburetors because it's easy to adjust. I put one on both ends of these, so I really like them. Alright, now I have a little socket set that I also got at Lowe's, and I think that one is too little. Hang on. Nope, that's it. This is the second size up. I don't even know what size it is. A 7/64 socket. So if you have a 7/64, it works perfect. It fits right into that little black metal cap, almost like it was made for it. So then what you do is you turn that upside down. Get your little handy dandy hammer. I just knocked it over. Alright, let's try this again. And I'm going to line that up, try to keep it steady. And I'm going to take my little socket and a hammer and knock that on there. Okay, that's got the first one. There's no way that's coming off. Now I'm going to put a little plastic cap over the top of that as a security measure. And sometimes you have to take a pair of pliers. You can figure out what I did with them. Here they are. And squish that all the way up on there. But that swivels. Get your linkage through there. Never had one come loose. I really like it. So let's do the second one. hard to get them to lay there. Sometimes it's easier to put it on here, stick it that way, and turn it upside down, and try to balance it with your hands. There we go. That one in place, that one snapped in. Alright, we got our control horn for our rudder and our steering. Alright, we'll lay that one aside. I got one more to do here for the elevator. I got to drill it out. Forgot to do that. I want it to swivel, but I don't want any slop in it, so we got it right where we want it. Put our little black cap. If you don't have a little socket set, you can find some kind of little tube. You don't want to try to hammer these on though, because you bend them and then they can come loose. So you want to put them on flush and straight. And that's why this works so good, because it fits right in that little booger and drives it on perfectly straight. Alright, now squeeze that one with the pliers. There we go. Alright, now we have an elevator arm. Now I need one more arm for the throttle. And box. Here we go. The throttle arm usually doesn't have to be as long as the rest of them. You can use a round one. You have the round wheels that come with your servos, and that works good too. It's either one. But I just take one of these, take my little cutters, cut off 3 sides. Pieces flying all over the room. Alright, we're going to drill it out. Water a little bit. Need one more. Alright, there we go. Nice. Let's get the little black deal. And a clear plastic one. Alright. Take this. And we will hammer this one on here if I can keep it steady. Put the plastic safety clip on. Make sure it's all the way up with a pair of pliers. And we have a throttle arm. And it's a little bit shorter than the elevator, so I want to be sure and get it on the throttle. And I want the longer one on my elevator. So, okay. Alright, we got that done. Let me put this up. Put the drawers up. Okay. Alright, we're going to hook our receiver stuff up, and I'll be right back. Okay, we haven't mounted our switch yet, but we'll do that in a little bit. We'll cut a hole and put it right here in the side of the plane. Anyway, for right now, we're just going to lay the battery and switch and stuff in the compartment here and plug up our servos. Okay, we know this one over here is the rudder. So let's find the rudder. Your light colored wire, remember, always goes to the center of your receiver. If it's an end plug receiver, it goes to the top. Rudder, I'll put that in there. Okay, and then the middle one is our elevator. Put it in the elevator. And then the one over here is the throttle, which we really don't need the throttle right now, because we got to wait till we hook the linkage up to the engine to do that. So we'll do these two. Alright, let me get my radio. Okay. It's on. Let's turn the power on to our receiver. And we got power. Lights on. Okay. Kind of blocking the light here. But anyway, alright. Well, we can go ahead and, let's see. I didn't plug the throttle up. I'm going to go ahead and put this on the throttle servo just so I don't lose track of it for now. And we'll just kind of lightly tack the screw in there. We'll be taking it back off. Alright, this one is our steering and rudder, so we know it goes over to this side. I gotta get the screw out of here. Turn the camera there a little bit. Now, rudder. Okay, it's all working. First thing we want to do before we do any sub trimming is we want to make sure it's going the right direction. Okay, that's almost a perfect 90. Usually you have to sub trim it a little. Okay, your rudder is going to come out top of your fuselage back here, and it is back. See, left is gonna, no, it's backwards. So this arm is going to go back and push the rudder to the right. And oh yeah, that's right. Okay, that'd be right. So I'm pushing my stick to the right. That's going back. That's going to push the rudder to the right. The control horn is going to be on the left side of it. So it's right. So, and we don't have to sub trim because it's right at 90 degrees. Now you can see what I was talking about on your control horns hitting each other. Had I put this servo like they showed, the arms would have hit each other. I mean, it's just crazy. These books, some of them don't make any sense, and that's what I mean. To a beginner, you don't know some of this stuff. You're trying to do what the book tells you because you think that's what you're supposed to do, but some of the stuff in there you got to ignore and just know from what you've been doing. So, alright, we got that one on. Now, the elevator is going to come out on the right side of the plane. So it's mounted, the control horn is on top of the elevator. So to go down, the servo needs to go back. And let's put this on here. Get it as close to a 90 as we can, which that's way off. Let's try the other direction. That's closer. Okay, elevator up, pull forward. Okay, we don't have to reverse that one. It's good. And now we'll go into our sub trim and our radio. Alright, our elevator is slightly off center. We want it 90 degree parallel. So we are going to go in to our radio and go to sub trim, and we're going to put it on elevator. Highlight that. Then I can turn this little knob. You can see the servo. See the arm moving? You can center that up at a perfect 90 degree. And that's where we want it. So, okay. Got that ready. Now, we're ready to hook up our linkage. But let's put our screws in here before we forget. Well, I almost left one of these out one time, and just a little ways around the horn flying, that thing's going to work itself loose, and when you lose a control surface, you're going to lose an airplane, most likely, because you don't have any control if you lose a rudder. Rudder you might be able to get by with unless it sticks to one side. Elevator, you're almost doomed. If without an elevator, you're not going to be able to land this plane, unless you have a plane that has flaperons on it, and that's a whole other story how to set those up. Your ailerons actually work as flaps. They go downward, but they still work as ailerons, and sometimes if you have that, you can manage to land one without an elevator, but it's hard to do. Okay, got our rudder, everything's going the right direction. We're ready to put our linkage in. We'll get all that hooked up, and then the last thing we're going to do is mount our receiver and then figure out where the battery's going to go, and we're almost done. Be back in a bit.